Here to the press box on Sports Radio 1450, broadcasting live as we always do here from Sammy's Sports Bar and Grill on a Thursday afternoon. Steve Bridge along with you. Eric Pedigo sitting in today for Kevin O'Day, who is out away this afternoon. Come on down to Sammy's here on 5th in between Monroe and Adams, because it is your place. It is your NCAA Tournament Central. Come on down during the lunch hour. Get yourself a great bit of food to eat, great appetizers, one of those great sandwiches that they have. They do have walleye for everybody on Friday, so you can take advantage of the fish special if you need to, if you're so inclined. Great burgers, fantastic salads, as we've mentioned too. Often overlooked are the delicious soups that they have, and the great chicken tortilla soup that is available down here, cup or bowl. Lunch specials too all week, and the reason to be down here right now is not only do you have the NCAA basketball tournament still on TVs down here, even though CBS Channel 3 WCIA has flipped. Yes, Judy Frazier. Yes, weatherwoman Judy Frazier. We're talking to you right now. Even though they have flipped off and gone to Oprah, of all things, sacrilegious on a day like today, a national institution. Even though they have flipped off and gone to Oprah this afternoon.
Oprah gets ratings too, Steve.
Yeah, well, she gets probably better ratings right now than the NCAA tournament does. I don't fault them for that over there, but even though they have Oprah on, you can come down here and with the NCAA package still watch games going on right now. And you can also slide on down to Sammy's for half-price appetizers, as they'll set you up with fried mushrooms, onion tanglers, brat bites, or Bosco sticks, all for half price, and wash it all down with a $10 bucket of domestic beers. Score updates for you from this afternoon from the first set of games from the NCAA tournament. Number 1 seed North Carolina rolls over Radford 101-58. The Cal Bears fall. It's an upset. Number 10 Maryland defeats the Bears 84-71. It was a close one for a while, but Purdue does escape with a win 61-56 over number 12 Northern Iowa. Number 2 Memphis also looked like for a while there would be the 5th number 2 team to lose to a 15 seed in this in the tournament's history, but they defeat Cal State Northridge 81-70. Texas A&M pulls the 8-9 upset over Brigham Young 79-66. UConn over Chattanooga 103-47. The Huskies move on, and 1-8-9 seed pulls fair. LSU defeats Butler 75-71. The state of Indiana left with just one team left in the NCAA tournament right now, and in fact, a lot of people are picking Illinois to lose in this one. There could be one basketball team playing on the second day. Oh, technically they'd be playing on the third day. There'd be one basketball team from the state of Indiana and Illinois playing in the round of 32. If what happens tonight, a lot of people think will, with Illinois losing, possibly to Western Kentucky. You want to talk about that game? We can. They tip 8:55. I don't think they'll put Oprah on against Illinois over on Channel 3. Well, the only one game here currently in action still is number 4 Washington. They play Mississippi State. They are leading Washington 38-27 at the half. Games left again for this afternoon. As we've told you, Illinois is still up there. Also, number 7, Texas. Number 10, Minnesota, 6-10. Number 7, number 10, Clemson and Michigan, 6-10 start. Villanova and American at 7-10, 7-20, 6-10, 6-20, right in that neighborhood. Villanova, the 3 seed, playing in their home city. Look for a big win out of Nova in that one. Gonzaga and Akron, a 4-13 matchup, 6:30 or thereabouts. Duke and Binghamton at about 8:40. Duke, the 2 seed. Oklahoma and Morgan State. See how Blake Griffin does coming back off the injuries, and see if he's clear-headed and ready to play. Oklahoma and Morgan State square off, and UCLA and VCU. I think that's a game a lot of people are interested in. I think a lot of people think that the VCU Rams can undo the Bruins, although Ben Howland's record for UCLA in the NCAA tournament has just been fantastic, and we'll see if the Bruins can really play defense as well as they have in the past, and they could make things pretty difficult for that Virginia Commonwealth team, but they are right now kind of a hot pick. A lot of people think VCU is an 11 seed could pull an upset there in the first round. We're headed towards 5 o'clock, and I did want to make a couple of baseball notes for everybody out there. If you are a Cardinals fan, it looks like Chris Perez will be throwing a little bit of long toss tomorrow. He's going to work out the shoulder a little bit. And that's good news for the Cardinals and good news for Cardinal fans, although it doesn't look like Chris Perez is really the closer to be had this year for the Cardinals. It seems like, all things considered, Chris Perez is probably one of the closers in waiting. And even with the sore shoulder, I can never say that together. It was the two S's.
That's tough.
I always used to say a bum shoulder. But the sore shoulder, and Chris Perez is going to throw a long toss on Friday. Possibly a prelude to a weekend game appearance. This written by Joe Strauss in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, online at STL today. Perez remained in Jupiter Thursday to accept treatment on that thrown shoulder, which has been a nuisance for some time. It has started to minimizing it to a degree. Perez said he made his last two Grapefruit League outings since the discomfort first surfaced. He compared the sensation to a knot. 529-1450. You have a call here on the press box. Caller, thank you for joining the show, and go ahead.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Hey, a couple things. I tend to agree. I don't know if I agree with you or not, but I like the conference championship games on the NFL that Saturday is way better football than the Super Bowl, I think. And I like the championships on Saturday as far as basketball goes. I think that's a way better time as far as the spectacle goes. And I don't know if you've talked about, you've broken down the Illinois game tonight about Western Kentucky, but I've got a bad feeling about it, being an Illinois fan. What do you guys think? And I'll hang up and listen.
All right, thank you very much for the call. One thing, Eric, I think at times quantity over quality always does prevail, and when you can watch two really great teams, whether it's in the NFL conference championship round or whether it's on semifinal night in the NCAA basketball tournament, it always seems to be a little bit better. And, the other interesting thing is, too, now trust me, Illinois fans realize that their team didn't win the national championship 3-4 years ago, whenever that was, against North Carolina. But people just refer to it as a Final Four team. So, those folks at Michigan State, when Michigan State was there and Louisville was there and Illinois was there in North Carolina. Now, granted, North Carolina walks away happily as the national champion.
Yes.
But the folks at Louisville and the folks in Michigan State are almost as excited, and I say almost as excited, as the team that walks away with the national championship. Because it's something just to be a Final Four team. The NCAA has done a great job of building it up that 2/3 of the championship is getting to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Because, so many coaches are referred to, granted, you get referred to as a national championship winning coach, but there's something to be said when Final Four, head coach Mike Krzyzewski joined us. Obviously national champions. But so many of those guys get their street cred, especially within their own circles, just by making that Final Four. So it's kind of like a lot of the anticipation is done once those two teams play and play to get to the championship game, because you've seen two wonderful games in the Final Four. With most teams, it kind of depends on if you played a series of games, you'd be interested to how it would really work out over the long stretch. But, teams where really you'd think, wow, they're all really good.
Yeah. Hey, that's a really good point, Steve. The Final Four has kind of become just a way to acknowledge teams. Like you and I will remember George Mason probably for the rest of our lifetimes. And they got bounced out of the Final Four, but they made it. And that's what we'll always remember. They were a Final Four team. And you almost hear that more than you hear they were a championship team.
Yeah,
and
or really championship runner-up team. Not a lot of times do you remember the team that was the runner-up, but you'll remember everybody that was in the Final Four.
Yeah.
So I think that does make that night special. And I will say, though, I think real close to Final Four night is I've always liked the weekend coming up next weekend when it goes from 16 to 8 to 4.
Oh, yeah.
Because you are really guaranteed top quality basketball. You don't see any of this 116 garbage. And you are all but guaranteed some just claw them out, fight them out games. And my probably best weekend of all basketball, because the national championship game, quite honestly, can be a letdown. And it can be a letdown because it's just a one-off affair. There's only one game to watch that night, and if you're not really interested in it, it's not going to be that great. But chances are you're interested in watching the Sweet 16, go to the Elite Eight, and those Elite Eight games into the Final Four are just fantastic basketball. And I would say, we talked about that a little bit last year, I think that might be an overlooked weekend, and bottom line, it's probably my favorite weekend of the entire tournament.